Thank you, listeners, for joining us. It is a busy Tuesday, and of course, we're on the doorstep of, we've closed out the official Nevada lawmaking session. We have our city manager, Jan Baum, in studio, along with other guests today to talk about a crazy busy week in Elko, an invasion of Mormon crickets. I mean, this is one fantastic show. So, Jan, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it, as always, as the city sponsors the show and brings us lots of good news and information. We should start with, I think the thing that's bugging most people is, of course, that Mormon cricket invasion. And I know you've been in touch with Mr. Knight, I believe, the state entomologist.
Yes, I have. And talked to Mr. Knight this morning, and the state agriculture department, they have a team that are in town this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to do some baiting on public lands. And so I just want to stress that it is on public lands. They do not bait on private property for, obvious reasons that different private property people don't want their land baited, or they may have allergies or pets that are affected by the bait. And so they will only bait on public lands.
And we do want to emphasize a couple of things for those of us who've lived with the crickets for a couple of cycles or a few generations. It's fair to say they do not bite. They are not poisonous. They are a pest. Mm-hmm. Certainly, they do destroy crops, forage. I mean, there are plenty of reasons to, exterminate them. But something tells me they may be here long on the planet, maybe long after us, right?
Absolutely. I think that there was, I don't know, I remember years and years ago when they first kind of appeared. I remember people telling me, oh, they'll disappear for like 7 years, and then, and no, that doesn't appear to be happening. It seems like they're there every year, and this year just seems to be a pretty bad year for them. And but you're right, they're a pest. For lack of better words, they're gross. But they, I don't know if they, and of course they're not great on lawns or agriculture, gardens, things like that. But they seem to, I have a friend that got them, and it seems like they just kind of moved through, and now they've left her property, and she's very thankful. And I do want to mention, if you don't mind.
Oh, please, Jan.
So when I talked to Jeff Knight, and we do have this on our Facebook page as well as our website. His name is, again, Jeff Knight with the State Department of Agriculture. His email is jknight, jknight at agri.nv.gov. His office phone number is 775-353-3767. And his cell phone is 775-848-2592. And if there is an area that really has a large number of crickets, it's good to call or text him with that information, or email him. And while they're looking for big areas that they can bait while they're here. So, and then he will also be at the Elko County Commissioner meeting tomorrow at 1:30. And so, of course, that's a public meeting, and anybody is welcome to join, and he will be there. So, and then I did do a little phone call, some phone calls this morning, and IFA does have bait if people are interested in baiting their personal property. And they're getting a little low on bags, but they have another shipment coming in next week. So if somebody does want to bait, just know it's bait, and so they come to it. So just know that. So, and anyway, that's what I have.
Oh, no, okay. That's terrific. Really, and that'll be helpful. Jeff Knight will be at the County Commission meeting, 1:30. And again, it's something we've been through before, but we're sorry for people that this is a new experience, because it's pretty terrifying to see them swarming like that. Yeah,
mm-hmm. And I've heard they're really bad at the hospital right now, and I feel badly about that, because people are nervous when they have to go there anyway, and then to see that, it's an unpleasant experience.
Yeah, so especially if you're a parent, keep calm and cricket on. And it's a good thing we have Marianne McKown here. She's from Vitality Unlimited. She is going to be talking about, helping people through, mental health challenges and situations. They can be temporary, temporary, like a cricket invasion, or they can be long-term. So we appreciate that. That ties in with the city as well. But in the meantime, I think, oh wait, Jan, we do want to do a quick legislative update. I did get off the phone and we're going to keep it.
Oh, wonderful.
I know. Bert Gurr gave us an update on some of the most important legislation, and AB 58, that was AB 429, and I know you've got some good news to share about. That's our air service development.
Absolutely. We're very excited and very thankful to Bert Gurr for helping us with this bill. And it's flip-flopped a lot from AB 58 to AB 429 back to AB 58. But it does fund the Air Commission Fund, and which we're hoping will help with intra-state travel, air travel. And our state really needs some help with air travel, and we're just really excited that this may help our state as a whole, and then the AIP funding as well. So yeah, we're so excited.
Yeah, Jan, that is great work. He said that there's $2 million in infrastructure right now. That could lead to $32 to $34 million in federal grants for this process.
Yes, because an AIP match is approximately 6.25%, and that's the portion that the local well, in our case, the local municipality pays, and then the county or the federal portion is the 93.75%. So you're right; it calculates into much more of a benefit than just the $2 million, and that'll be a great benefit for our state.
Right. So that's the update there. And again, we'll hammer out some of these things. Bert should be home Friday. They are on the doorstep, though, of a special session because they didn't get the budget buttoned up. And that is the important piece.
Yes.
And that is really tied into a couple of our other important prospects. Well, this one in particular, I guess, too, just to get that funding nailed down. I'm sure that he also told you, or you got an update on the prevailing wage, which was also good news, SB 226.
Yes, there was an amendment on that, and I believe that passed. And there was an amendment on that relaxed that bill a little bit, didn't make it so stringent on our nonprofits, which is so important in our rural communities. We rely on nonprofits to get a lot done and help the people in our communities that need help the most. And so we were really nervous about that one, but there's been an amendment that seems to have loosened that up, and I believe that passed last night as well.
Yep, lawmaker Warren Hardy really stripped out a lot of the offensive language. We understood from early on that this came from the South. It wasn't directed at rural communities, but it essentially ends the leasebacks. If everything that Bert was saying, he still has to read the bill, but no more leasebacks, which people thought was kind of a workaround to prevailing wage.
Absolutely, and I believe after hearing really what they were wanting to accomplish with that bill, that makes more sense to me. And it wasn't really an attack on nonprofits, but that was a terrible side effect of it. And so I'm glad that they finally got the wording adjusted and that amendment. And then SB 433 did pass, but I believe that the governor vetoed that.
Yep, I think that's on the list. But again, it's still in the washing machine. It's still churning around until we get this special session nailed down. And Bert thinks it's imminent. He said he was there in his sweats, but he has a suit on the hanger and he's ready to go into special session. It's imminent. So just hanging out for that. Finally, the one that was introduced late, that's probably the most confusing and has created yet, more emotional turmoil within the community. That one is the Rural Schools Act, AB 519. That one is passed, and Bert said he has a better understanding of that. He said, I know people in Elko County don't, but he said, be patient. When he gets back, he's going to talk us through it, and it will probably make sense then.
Oh, wonderful. I think we'll all be appreciative of that education from Bert. So for being a freshman, he's really done a great job for us, and we appreciate Bert.
Yeah, he's got the personality, and he's honest, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely,
Yes.
I agree. And
Yeah.
I believe the governor will speak today. If he hasn't already, I'm sorry, I've been in the run all morning, but and kind of explain what the special session will entail.
Yes, we're waiting for that too. It could be imminent. Hopefully we're not missing it, but thank you, Jan. Jan Baum is our
Thank
Elko
you.
City Manager, and we're going to slide that microphone over to Kimberly Longley from Elko Convention and Visitors Authority. We're so pleased that she could join us. She's the Convention and Event Manager for probably the busiest place in the city right now, it's fair to say. And I'm going to scooch that microphone up to you just a little bit, Kimberly. There we go. Thank you so much. Kimberly, welcome to the radio show.
Hello.
Hi, thank you so much. You are such an important part of the staff at the ECVA. It's a very small staff, I should mention, for the facility that we have in our community, both the convention and conference center. But this is one of the biggest events of the year for your staff, right?
It is, yep, and it takes the whole team to put it together, and we have a wonderful team.
So tell us about Elko Mining Expo. This is the 37th year, right?
Yep, it's the 37th year. It will take place Thursday, June 8th from 9 to 5, and Friday, June 9th from 9 to 3. And both days, it's open to the public either day. Registration's not required, but we are asking those who are industry professionals to register because it allows them to connect with exhibitors on a different level.
We understand that this expo is among the most, I think the words respected is used. A lot of people can sort of relax and enjoy being away, being here in Elko. I mean, that's the beauty of being isolated. They can play golf, they can enjoy dining, but then they can really get down to business. There are over 300 exhibitors?
Yep, we have 365 exhibitors. They occupy 447 booth spaces, so some of them take up multiple spots. We have large equipment that's there. I know Empire Southwest is bringing in a 777, which is a big truck, so there's going to be lots to see.
And we do know that families like to go because for some families, this is a chance to showcase what mom or dad does.
Exactly. Yep, they get to see the equipment that their parents maybe operate or work on. They get to see other parts of mining that you might not even think exists. So there's lots of different things to come out and see and do and experience. We will have a special session this year, which I'm very, very excited for. It's our first one. It will take place on Thursday, June 8th, and the topic discussion is ESG, Metrics That Matter. And we're going to have representatives from I-80 Gold, Kinross Gold, Newfields, and Nevada Gold Mines, and they will discuss how their respective organizations are managing the ESG initiatives.
Let's talk about briefly, what does ESG stand for those not in the mining industry?
So that stands for Environmental Social Governance.
And that's really the way that the mines, large corporations, and those associated give back and create sustainability?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is a symposium style, I understand. And so people can just come and listen?
Yes, they can come and listen. Tickets are not required. It's open to anybody who wants to come and learn more. I'm kind of calling it like a fireside chat without the fire. But yeah, they'll just be seated and it's just going to be a fun discussion.
You know, it's nice to have this opportunity because it's another way to involve the community, Kimberly, and for us to all really understand that, you know, mining mission obviously is to extract this resource, but they know it's non-renewable and they want to create healthy environments for generations to come.
Yes. Yep. And that's important.
Yeah. So again, the leaders of that will be presenting. Would you mind telling us the time and location again?
Yes, it's going to be 1 p.m. Thursday, and it will be in the Convention Center Theater.
Okay, ECVA Theater. Perfect. Just come as you are and come and sit and get the lowdown on ESG. And that, again, has to do with the sustainability piece of mining and their suppliers and all the corporate sponsors. And Kimberly, I think this is an important point, is that you and your staff, your team, you work really hard several months out of the year to make sure that these events are successful.
Yes, I generally start planning in August for the next year's event, and then we start meeting and just brainstorming and getting it going.
So another tie-in to the city of Elko is that a number of events, or a big event, it would be the golf, and that takes place at the Ruby View.
Yep, Monday, Tuesday we have the golf tournament. Each round has about 144 golf players. And then we have the opening reception that Wednesday night, and I think we have about 500 guests, and that's sponsored by Le Bear.
Wow, and it just is, the golf course looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jan's over there ecstatic, and
Yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah.
So-
And that's, again, one of the reasons people like to come to Elko. We have these amenities. It's a little smaller scale. It's not as, it's not Vegas, and sometimes people don't want Vegas.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean-
and I even know some of the people that go in golf in the evenings after the tournament, and they all love the golf course. They have very positive things to say.
So they're spending a week here, and it's a big injection into the local economy, right?
Yes. Yep. The hotels are pretty much booked out. I think that some people were scrambling to find rooms last minute. It also puts people in the seats at the restaurants, in the gas stations, in all the stores. We try to direct them to local shops to kind of give them that unique experience of Elko.
Kimberly Longley is Convention and Event Manager for the Elko Convention and Visitors Authority Elko Conference Center. I guess you're only as good as your last act. So what are you working on next, Kimberly?
Oh boy, Festival of Trees.
Nice.
It's coming up. So we're going to start working on that right after Expo, and then we start working on Expo 2024.
Well, and thanks again to you and your team, because ECVA obviously got through the toughest time in recent history, and that would be the COVID pandemic. You have an amazing leader at the helm, and Annette Kerr is the executive director.
Yes.
So thank you, Kimberly, for your dedication to this position. Some people saw, no, I'm not saying from the convention center, but some people just in general, couldn't wave the storm in Elko and kind of took off during COVID, right? So
Yeah. But we
Yeah.
have a great team, and without that team, none of this would happen. So,
you're rebuilding.
yes. Yep.
Definitely. So if people have questions or want to find out about having a special event or activity, are you the person to contact?
Correct. Yep. And they can even go to our website, exploreelko.com, and they'll find out all sorts of information, even about other events happening in the area too, because we try to promote as much as we can.
You really do, and you're a great counterpoint to our Elko Area Chamber of Commerce. They're the official visitor center, but CEO Billy Crapo speaks very highly of the work that you're doing at ECVA. So,
Well, thank you.
absolutely,
And
Kimberly.
thank you, Billy.
Yes, yeah, she's phenomenal. Again, we have great leadership in this community, and so anything that I didn't ask you about, maybe Kimberly, that you see an opportunity to mention today, or
I think you covered everything. So fingers crossed for good weather, and come out and check out all the equipment.
sounds like a plan. Elko Convention and Visitors Authority, known as the ECVA, and the Elko Conference Center. It was great to have you on the radio, and I hope you'll come back.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Kimberly Longley is the Convention and Events Manager. So with all of that, now we get to turn our attention and time over to Ms. Marianne McKown from the Vitality Unlimited programs. Of course, VIPs encompasses all of Vitality Unlimited. Marianne, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. So let's back up a bit for people who may not know what Vitality is. I know you've got an elevator speech ready.
So Vitality Unlimited, Vitality has been in Elko since 1971 and started out as just one-person substance abuse treatment. And it's grown throughout the years. A lot of people are familiar with Vitality Center. That is our residential substance abuse treatment facility that also does co-occurring mental health. So anybody who goes into our residential, they have access to our therapists that are through the Vitality Integrated Programs, which is the newest portion of our business here in Elko that was started in 2017. And Vitality Integrated Programs, it's in the Bluffs, on Bluffs Avenue, right above Walmart, is usually how I describe to people, because they go, oh, I know exactly where that is. And that is our outpatient clinic that's open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m.
And again, Marianne's here and representing a terrific team of professionals and really caring people, because we know that this profession right now is, it's been especially difficult to attract people to come to rural communities, but you guys are doing great, I understand.
We have a great staff and a great team. Our team stretches to Reno, Carson City, and Dayton. When we have an issue that we need help from the Reno clinic, we can give them a call, and they're there to help. So basically, we do complete behavioral health, is what we try to say. And it basically, I sum it up as if you're facing stress, grief, addiction, relationship problems, depression, anxiety, or other concerns, you may be struggling with your behavioral health. Because a lot of people ask me, what is that? You know, it's more than just mental health. It's mental health. It's everything that affects your life. And what we're trying to do is we're starting an outreach program, partly because the city gave us ARPA funds, so thank you to the city. We were able to purchase a mobile therapy van. And it's basically a big white van that is a mobile office. And we can provide the services that we provide at our clinic out in the community. And we want to really spread that message and let people know all the different services that we have available. So we reached out to other agencies and said, hey, can we bring our van to your location and help your clients? One of the first ones is the senior center, the Terrace at Riverview. Spoke with Matt McCarty and his staff, and they said, absolutely, please bring the van to us. So tomorrow from 10 a.m. until noon, our mobile therapy van will be at the Elko Senior Center. So people who want to find out what services we have, they can come and talk to our staff. And it's basically anytime somebody comes to our clinic, we take their vitals because, again, complete behavioral health includes your physical health. So if somebody's coming to see us and their blood pressure is up, we need to know that. So that's why we take the vitals. So if they need extra medical attention, we can seek that out. So we have the entire month of June scheduled. So we'll be at the Senior Center tomorrow, June 7th, and we will be back at the Senior Center 10 a.m. to noon on June 28th. We will also be going to the humanitarian camp. This was really important to us, and I talked to Jan about it. You know, we want to reach out to the homeless population, to the populations that may not know of all the services. Fish does a great job of helping the homeless, but we have substance abuse counselors, we have mental health professionals. So we're going to be going to the humanitarian camp on June 9th and on June 21st. And we also reached out to Fish because they help that population. So we will be at Fish also on June 16th from 2 to 4. That's on a Friday in the afternoon. And then also on June 23rd, 2 to 4. Because I talked to Sherry and she was like, yes, Friday afternoons are a better time to come. And we want to reach as many people as we can. And if we reach certain people and if we get a huge outpouring at the senior center, we may add days. We may add hours. We need to really see where we're going to be able to provide the most services to the most amount of people. And also Sherman Station. So that's we were trying to pick different locations in town to, like I said, reach as many people as possible. So we will also be at Sherman Station from 10 a.m. to noon on June 14th and also at Sherman Station on June 30th. That's a Friday from 2 to 4. So our Wednesday trips, if you've noticed a pattern, our Wednesday trips are in the morning and our Fridays are in the afternoon. And anybody can call us and get more information. But this is just a good way of doing outreach into the community.
Marianne McKown is with Vitality Unlimited, and she is the outreach and development coordinator in partnership with, as she just mentioned, all these very important collaborators from the community. And what we're trying to do too, Marianne, is just get the word out and overcoming the stigma that, mental health is just as important as your physical health. If you had a broken arm, you'd go to the emergency room. If you had high blood pressure, you would seek medical help and maybe start taking medication. Not all mental illness is permanent, right? Sometimes it could be a temporary crisis.
Yes, very, very true. I mean, we saw that a lot with COVID. Anxiety and things that happen in your life, somebody dies. You're going to deal with grief. You may not deal with that for the rest of your life, but it helps. Mental health is not something we should be afraid to treat. Mental health affects your other portions of your life. It can affect you physically. I mean, my sister used to get hives because she would get anxiety about taking tests. So the stress of going and taking that test affected her physically. And this was, back in the 80s. Nobody talked about mental health and that kind of stuff. We want to get that outreach going. Even substance abuse. Substance abuse is a mental health issue, because there are a lot of people out there, they haven't gotten diagnosed, they haven't sought out the help that they need for mental health, and they self-medicate. A lot of them self-medicate with alcohol. And that's, everybody focuses on just that, the illegal substances. It's not just that. We help with any sort of substance you may have an issue with.
And don't forget that even if you're not concerned about your own health, those around you are very concerned, Marianne, right? So I could see why the mobile therapy van might be a good location for someone to stop off and say, hey, I'm kind of worried about someone I care about or a loved one. Are there some signs or some things I can do?
And that's a great place to go, because the people who will be on the therapy van, we will have one of our peer support specialists, and it's going to alternate in between the peer support specialists and one of our targeted case managers. We'll also have somebody on the van that takes the vitals, that has medical assistance experience. Once we get our registered nurse, she may come on. We've hired somebody, but they haven't started work yet. So basically, that therapy van, like I said, it's a mobile office. If you come and you're like, hey, I want to learn more about Vitality, or I want to set up an appointment, they can do an intake. We have Wi-Fi on the van, so we can do the things that we need to do out in the field. Now, there could be a crisis that happens, and somebody may need mental health, may need a therapist right then and there. Again, that Wi-Fi will allow us access to our therapist via telehealth. So that way, if a crisis does happen, we still have that ability to reach out.
Well, it's so nice that you're setting up in these locations, and I'm sure that as time goes by, Marianne, we can, maybe you'll set up at the Peace Park sometime, or, just different places where people can say, yeah, hey, I want to drop in, but I don't feel like going to an office, or I'm not sure if I, qualify financially, because that's also a big piece.
Well, and the thing with Vitality, a lot of people don't realize, we take Medicaid and Medicare. Not a lot of there's still a limit on places that do. We also take most insurances, and we have a sliding fee scale. So we can accommodate for a lot of different things. We also have somebody embedded with us from the state who comes to Vitality Center and to the CCBHC, that's the Vitality Integrated Programs. We're hoping that she'll also be able to possibly join us on the van. That's a state employee, not ours, so she has to get that cleared through her supervisors. But basically, when people come to us and they're like, I think I qualify for Medicaid, but I'm not sure, we contact her, and she comes and helps them figure out what they qualify for, especially since with Medicaid, all of those COVID special circumstances have gone away. So people who used to qualify for Medicaid no longer do. They're taking back into account how much money, what your income is. So a lot of that, people have gotten used to, I get to have Medicaid no matter what I make. That has changed. So they're trying to get that awareness out. But the fact that we have somebody from the state that we can reach out to and have them help our clients is a great thing. And anybody who needs the services or wants to set up an appointment, you can always call our office line, which is 775-777-8477. And I encourage anybody out there, if you think you might have an issue, give us a call. We'll do the intake process. It does take a little bit longer than just, I have a fever and I go to the doctor. There is a certain process, because we have to make sure that we're giving you all of the different services that you may need.
Marianne, thank you so much. Again, this is just an important indication, and you're ramping up with this van, but meeting the needs of the community with the support of the city of Elko. As you thanked the city, initially in the conversation, it was through the ARPA money and the city council, the city leaders, with the support of staff, but everybody directed money toward mental health. They decided that was a priority for our citizens, and that's a huge step in overcoming this stigma.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a huge, huge step. And every time I go to a health fair, or there's one coming up June 24th, access to healthcare, summer health fair, it'll be in the main city park. every time I go to a health fair or I talk to people, there are still people that are surprised that we have the services we have in Elko. They're like, I had no idea. And it doesn't matter that we've been here for over 50 years. People still don't know. And sometimes it's that we have a lot of new people. You know, this town has grown through the years. I've been here, I can't believe I've been here a couple of decades now, but it's grown, and we need to keep telling people what services are available, because we need to make sure that everybody keeps their mental health as healthy as possible so that we lessen the amount of suicides and other related issues.
Vitality Unlimited is one of the many partners working on this issue collaboratively. And Marianne, thank you for representing Vitality today, because we know that we have partners allied for community excellence. We have Family Resource Center. We have Nevada Behavioral Health Centers. I mean, as you mentioned, we have a myriad of services, and it's great to have people who care so much about this issue and work together to help make this community healthy.
Absolutely. And you can, if you want to know where our mobile therapy van is, we will have the flyers up around town. You'll be able to go to our Facebook page. I will make sure that it's posted, since I'm the outreach. I handle our social media. So, but I'll make sure that these flyers are out so that people know where we're at. And I hope more and more people show up.
Sounds like they will, and we'll have more conversations with you, Marianne. Thank you again. I'm going to take that schedule and keep it here at the radio station since you went to print it out for me. Thank you so much. And we'll remind, of course, listeners of the location of the Vitality Mobile Therapy Van, again, from 10 a.m. until noon at the Elko Senior Center tomorrow, Wednesday, June 7th, and the Humanitarian Camp on Friday from 2 to 4. Those are just the locations this week. And you can take advantage of peer support, telehealth appointments, crisis intervention, have your vitals taken, make sure you're healthy, you're in the right direction. So thank you, Marianne, for being on the program today. I want to thank Kimberly Longley from Elko Convention and Visitors Authority. She's the Events and Programs Manager. And also to Jan Baum, because Jan is our City Manager and brought everybody together today. So thank you, Jan. Thank you, listeners, for joining us for today's edition of Elko Live here on KELK.